True wealth begins when an individual realizes that the world has no obligation to rescue them. This awakening, common after years of attempts and frustrations, sharpens one's vision. Starting from nothing carries an invisible advantage. There are no illusions left. And in that bitter clarity, the ascent finds its point of origin. A mature man observes time with rigor, and he knows every choice now costs more. Abandoning impulses becomes essential. Prosperity does not visit the distracted. It approaches those who sharpen their thoughts like an instrument of precision. Without mental discipline, any promise of wealth dissolves. Starting from zero requires a deep internal reorganization. Before building something solid, one must dismantle fragile beliefs that once led to failure. The ancients warned, nothing flourishes on unstable ground. A mind that seeks prosperity must become fertile soil, clean, firm, and capable of sustaining severe and lasting decisions. Many spend life confusing urgency with direction. But maturity reveals a cruel distinction. Running without purpose exhausts, while walking strategically transforms. A man who has already felt the weight of his own choices learns that prospering is not advancing quickly, but advancing correctly, removing noise, illusions, and weak expectations. Wealth demands the courage to confront what keeps life stuck. Older individuals understand that pain, when accepted without victimhood, becomes a tool. Experience sharpens judgment, reduces errors, and makes every movement more calculated. Those who learn from the fall rise with an advantage. The wise always advise guarding the mind as one guards a valuable gate. Undisciplined thoughts produce chaotic actions, and chaotic actions produce miserable destinies. Prosperity begins when one takes control of their own attention and turns thought into an instrument, not an obstacle. With the passing of years, ambition ceases to be impulsive and becomes selective. A mature man knows he does not need to embrace the world, only choose rigorously where to concentrate his power. This focus, rare in youth, becomes strategic strength. It eliminates waste, strengthens decisions, and opens the path for silent, relentless growth. Life experience teaches what no book explains. After decades observing behaviors, promises, and betrayals, an individual learns to identify intentions with almost surgical precision. This sharpened perception protects against naivety and filters real opportunities from seductive illusions. Thus, maturity becomes an ally to wealth. Machiavelli pointed out that fortune and virtue combine only when there is inner preparation. Virtue is disciplined strength. Fortune is the moment the world offers. Those who begin again later in life are not behind, they are more attentive. Pain has refined their perception, allowing them to capture opportunities others fail to see. To finally become wealthy does not require haste, but posture. It is the silent transformation of character that signals the arrival of prosperity. When an individual changes how they act, firm, strategic, selective, the world responds. Paths once hidden reveal themselves. Life opens space for those who have become worthy of leading it. Prosperity advances when one learns to separate the essential from the irrelevant. This mental filtering creates a different kind of strength. It prevents life from being governed by external impulses and returns self-command to the individual. Wealth begins when the unnecessary stops receiving permission to enter. Maturity reveals that most people fail, not for lack of effort, but for lack of clarity. Many work intensely, but in directions with no future. A sharp mind sees what others ignore. patterns, failures, openings. This strategic perception, not speed, is what turns a late restart into a decisive advantage. There comes a moment when the individual realizes he must be becoming stronger than any challenge ahead. This is not arrogance, but preparation. Life rewards those who become difficult to break. When inner strength matures, external circumstances no longer intimidate, and at that point, the game changes. The ancients taught that great achievements require inner silence. Loud ambition is fragile. Silent ambition is relentless. Those who start from nothing after decades of experience learn to move without announcing their steps. This protects plans, reduces interference, and allows actions to speak louder than intentions. Wealth is not gained only by action, but by eliminating errors that steal years of life. A mature man understands that every mistake avoided is as valuable as a step forward. To prosper, one must cut unfit people, weakening habits, and limiting beliefs. Removing what destroys is as important as building. Machiavelli observed that power arises from understanding human nature. Anyone who seeks to prosper must read intentions, map ambitions, and anticipate movements. This is not manipulation, it is comprehension. Maturity provides that map, and those who interpret it correctly see doors where others only see walls. The path to prosperity demands abandoning the need for approval. The desire to please is an enemy of wealth. One who wants to change his destiny must accept the discomfort of displeasing those who benefit from his weakness. Prosperity begins where silent submission ends. A late restart is a blessing in disguise. Maturity offers deep understanding of life cycles, and this understanding creates strategic patience. Those who have watched the wheel turn many times know that great transformations take time. This serenity allows one to stay firm when others quit. Wealth rewards the resilient. True change occurs when the individual understands he must not compete with anyone except his own potential. Comparisons create anxiety. Inward focus creates power. The man who commands his own trajectory develops a kind of natural authority, and this authority attracts opportunities previously invisible. Thus begins the late ascent. If this reflection resonates with you, take your step. Comment, share your thoughts, like the video, follow the channel, and activate notifications. Each action strengthens this community of mature minds who chose to restart with clarity. Show that you are present, participate, your voice matters, and your new chapter begins now. Prosperity does not visit the indecisive. Maturity teaches that hesitation has a cost. Each extended doubt allows opportunities to vanish. A man who seeks to transform his life must adopt decisive movement, even if slow. Firm progress, even when discreet, surpasses any grand gesture made without conviction. There is a silent power in those who learned to act without rush, yet without interruption. Consistency is the true heir of wealth. Many begin with energy, but few persist when enthusiasm fades. A mature individual understands that wealth is neither a sprint nor a marathon. It is a strategic march. The one who does not stop wins. Restarting requires detachment from the past. It is not about denying one's history, but being freed from it. Scars teach, but must not control. Anyone who seeks to prosper must abandon old justifications, stop honoring inherited limitations, and assume a new identity. Growth begins when the past stops commanding the present. Philosophers observe that Life rewards those who understand the value of productive isolation. Solitude, when used wisely, does not weaken, it sharpens. In silence, the mind organizes plans, identifies illusions, and strengthens intention. Those who master their own company become immune to external pressure and capable of building lasting wealth. Maturity allows one to view fear with clarity. The young flee from it, the wise study it. Courage does not arise from the absence of fear, but from the decision to face it with lucidity. Each time an individual advances, despite discomfort, he expands his internal territory. Thus, he gains more than money. He gains respect for himself. Machiavelli warned that the world belongs to those who perceive invisible movements. Anyone who seeks prosperity must recognize social patterns, predictable behaviors, and hidden interests. This is not manipulation. It is interpretation. Maturity provides that map, and those who read it correctly see doors where others see walls. Wealth demands a rare kind of patience, active patience. It is not passive waiting, but preparing while waiting for the right moment. The impulsive try to force time. The wise shape themselves to be ready when opportunity emerges. Success then ceases to be coincidence and becomes a natural consequence of preparation. A man who chooses to prosper later in life must develop absolute commitment to his own evolution. Maturity reveals that no one will offer paths. It is necessary to build them. This awareness does not burden, it liberates. When an individual realizes life responds to discipline, he stops seeking motivation and starts seeking results. There are moments when life demands rupture, not a dramatic rupture, but a silent one. Habits removed, routines reorganized, bonds re-evaluated. Prosperity arises when an individual abandons practices that no longer serve the future he desires. Wealth is not only about gain. It is about eliminating what weakens the path. The journey of late prosperity is, above all, a process of inner strengthening. When the mind becomes clear, the character firm, and the purpose inevitable, the world stops intimidating. The individual begins to act with presence, precision, and command. Wealth stops being distant and becomes a reachable destiny. Prosperity requires a clinical look at one's own limitations, not to lament them, but to dismantle them. A mature man understands that brutal honesty is a weapon. When he recognizes weaknesses without excuses, he begins to control them, rather than be controlled by them. Thus, he turns flaws into tools. Adult life shows that the world rarely rewards those who wait for permission. Initiative is a strategic virtue. Those who take the lead, create movement, and assume responsibility open paths where none existed. The ones who remain stuck are those who seek approval. Those who act with conviction, even imperfectly, progress. The ancients said a distracted mind is easy prey for failure. Attention is the new gold. Those who master their ability to focus multiply results exponentially. Every minute dedicated to the essential replaces hours wasted on the trivial. The man who governs his focus governs his destiny and eventually his finances. Maturity reveals that spending time with people who do not share your vision is a destructive luxury. Weak partnerships drain energy and pull individuals downward. Prosperity demands alignment. The right alliances accelerate. The wrong ones sabotage. Choosing people becomes a strategic act, not a sentimental one. This preserves the path. Wealth grows where there is organization, not only financial, but mental and emotional. A man who masters his routines builds solid ground. Each strong habit becomes a foundation. Each disciplined pattern becomes a protective wall. Chaos never creates abundance. Silent order does. Machiavelli reminded that predictability is weakness. Individuals who repeat the same behaviors in the same contexts become easy to manipulate. To prosper, one must surprise, change methods, break patterns, act strategically. Controlled unpredictability protects and strengthens. It prevents others from reading your game. Late prosperity requires courage to face discomforts most avoid. A mature individual knows growth never arises from soft ground. Hard decisions, severe conversations, uncomfortable choices, these shape a new future. Those who flee discomfort remain stagnant. Those who confront it gain power. Strategic patience is the most underestimated virtue among beginners. They want immediate results. The mature man knows great transformations take time. He invests where others quit. While impatience weakens the masses, his silent persistence fortifies him. Nothing threatens prosperity more than lack of direction. When individuals do not know what they want, any distraction becomes attractive. Clarity eliminates detours. It creates such a defined path that irrelevant options lose their charm. The man who knows where he is going wastes less, errs less, and advances more. This is the moment when the journey stops being intellectual and becomes visceral. The individual understands that wealth is not luck nor accident, is the consequence of inner command, sharp vision, and unbreakable discipline. The late restart, once feared, becomes a powerful advantage. Transformation is now inevitable. Prosperity advances when an individual learns to control impulsive reactions. Maturity reveals that decisions made in heated moments are expensive. Calm becomes a weapon. The man who responds with lucidity, not instinct, expands his strength. He is not shaken by external chaos. Instead, he uses that chaos as strategic material. Life tests those who are ready to grow. Sometimes it removes comforts, cuts relationships, and dismantles certainties. It is not punishment, it is selection. Individuals who interpret these movements wisely discover that adversity is nature's filter for greatness. Those who remain firm during turbulence become legitimate candidates for prosperity. To become wealthy, starting from nothing, one must understand the mechanics of exchange. Every action returns something. Every choice has a cost. A man who seeks prosperity evaluates constantly whether his effort is invested in something that grows. Maturity offers this sense of proportion. It separates productive effort from wasted effort. A man's strength is measured by his ability to protect what he builds. Many achieve progress but fail to preserve it. Guarding energy, filtering influences, and defending boundaries are essential to wealth. Without this, any achievement evaporates. With it, progress multiplies. Protection is as crucial as advancement. Machiavelli observed that the world respects those who know how to position themselves, not the violent, but the firm. A mature man understands that his presence must communicate clarity, where he stands, what he accepts, what he rejects. Prosperity responds to a strong identity. When one positions himself with conviction, the world reorganizes around him. Wealth emerges when intention becomes method. Dreams are easy, discipline is rare. Maturity requires turning the desire to prosper into routine, daily action, continuous practice. When behavior stops depending on emotion and starts depending on commitment, life shifts. The ordinary becomes exceptional. A man seeking prosperity must recognize when it is time to break away from environments that weaken him. Some places limit vision, shrink ambition, and slow internal rhythm. Prosperity requires mental and emotional space. Leaving where one sinks is not a typo. Sing is not a typo. I will correct. Asterisk. Leaving where one sinks is not escape. It is intelligence. Staying would be a waste of destiny. Maturity reveals that life rewards those who speak less and observe more. Observation unveils hidden patterns and anticipates risks. While others are distracted by noise, the attentive collect valuable information. This silent knowledge becomes competitive advantage. Those who observe lose less, and those who lose less grow more. Prosperity demands that the individual stop seeking shortcuts. The temptation of the easy path is a historical trap. A mature man understands that shortcuts steal depth, deform character, and delay the future. He seeks not full speed, but real growth. And real growth exists only on the disciplined, strategically built path. Here, the journey gains definitive form. The individual now recognizes his value, understands his weaknesses, controls impulses, and protects his path. Wealth is no longer a possibility, but a direction. Every decision carries weight, precision, and purpose. Life, once confusing, becomes a map, and that map points to a clear destiny. True prosperity begins when one realizes there is no need to prove anything to anyone. Maturity dissolves the desire for recognition. What matters is not impressing but building. This silent freedom gives rise to unbreakable focus. Those who stop living to please finally begin living to evolve. A man who seeks to get rich later in life must abandon the belief that it is too late. Age does not weaken, age refines. It eliminates illusions, reduces distractions, and increases the sense of priority. Experience sharpens vision, and clear vision shortens the path. With maturity, every step gains intention and intelligence. Wealth does not respond to desperation. It responds to preparation. A mature individual understands that nothing great grows from an anxious, disorganized mind. Strategic serenity opens doors. When that serenity settles in, even obstacles become steps. Life recognizes the one who is ready to receive it. The journey toward prosperity demands a final rupture, abandoning the old identity. The person who failed is not the person who will prosper. A new role, posture, and voice must emerge. Wealth requires renewed character. Those who insist on living as before repeat the same patterns. Those who reinvent themselves advance. Machiavelli understood that power and fortune favor those who act with calculation. Calculation comes from understanding the landscape. A mature individual measures risks, recognizes intentions, and evaluates movements. He does not advance blindly. He advances because he sees. This lucidity transforms every decision into leverage. Prosperity is not only accumulation. It is the ability to sustain what one gains. Many rise, few remain. Stability is born from discipline, order, and serenity. A mature man builds solidly, consciously, meticulously. That is why his wealth, when it arrives, does not fluctuate, it stays. It has roots, not appearances. The individual who reaches this point understands that prosperity is not an event, but a process, a refined and continuous one. Wealth grows in the soil of consistency. It is born from habit, strengthened by focus, and multiplied through clarity. Each day becomes a piece of the future. Each routine well executed is proof of merit. Life finally smiles upon those who learn to hear their own silence. In that silence, answers emerge that noise always hid. Vision becomes sharper, the mind stronger, the spirit steady. Those who master their interior conquer their exterior. True wealth begins not in the world, but in the individual who decides to awaken. Now the journey reaches its apex. The individual realizes that everything he sought already existed. He only needed to activate it. Discipline shaped character, maturity, refined perception, and strategy guided every step. Wealth does not arrive as a surprise. It arrives as a consequence. The late restart proved to be a powerful advantage. Here the crossing ends, and a new cycle begins. The individual, now transformed, has become what life demanded: lucid, firm, strategic. Wealth is no longer a distant dream, but a constructed destiny. The journey proved there is no too late. There is only those who choose to evolve, and those who choose win.